Hi, this is Isaac Curry, wishing you and your beautiful family a very Merry Christmas and a joyous New Year. Be safe and God bless.
What's up, and what's up? This is your boy, Keegan the Django. The Devil's Advocate. And how y'all doing today? It is Friday. I think we're in the month of November. But we're having a very warm, early winter. I don't know what's going on. So you guys bear with Django just a tank, because Django is partially hoarse from screaming at the TV last night because the New Orleans Aints could not put away the Dallas garbage. So I've been screaming at the TV, so I'm a little hoarse, and that means I'm gonna have to sit around here and deal with a week of Facebook foolishness. That's all right, though. They can come for me because Django don't care. So I want to thank everybody for joining us in today. Thank you for joining us in. That over here sit beside me. Oh, the man with no hair. Actually, he has it covered with the Eagles cap this week. Look at him. Look at here. Let me because this is serious business, bro. Y'all gonna have to go and represent.
Yeah, I'll be
there for where
the
Aints didn't.
Hey, Orlando.
They gonna have to represent.
Right.
Okay, y'all gonna have to represent for Django. Or I'm not gonna feed you next week. You want to go and represent for Django. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what my Giants gonna do. I mean, we in last place, but we're not mathematically eliminated unless we lose to the Bears. So, and over here on the radio with us, there's always woke. I'm pretty sure she's very woke this morning. How you doing, Miss Mia? Miss Woke, how you doing, darling?
Wide awake as usual. Wide awake per
What's up,
usual.
LaVelle? I see Brenda on here. She getting ready to throw some shade, but that's okay though.
Hey, Greg.
Because I'm going in. And today is also going to be part 2 of my rant about if you're a Cowgirls fan, I hope. So y'all just wait for that. Y'all just
I
wait
don't know
for it.
how any black person can be a Cowgirl fan,
Nah.
but that's neither here nor there. Go ahead.
You don't want. Oh, okay. I want you to go and tell about it. Yeah, I don't see how any black person could be a Cowgirls fan, but we gonna go ahead and do what we gotta do. Oh, friend, your Aints didn't produce, Francis. They didn't produce. They did not produce. I'm angry. And I'm hoarse, but that's okay. We gonna do what we got to do this morning.
Don't be on my live talking about no Cowboys, Greg Elliott.
No, that's the Cowgirls. You can refer to them as the Cowgirls, the Cow Patties. You can you anything but the Cowboys. Okay, so I guess no play up in here.
Okay.
So today, and I want to thank everybody for joining us. We are going to be talking. What are we going to be talking about today? Today we are going to be talking about from hope to hate. And I got, luckily today to get in on the last few minutes of the show because we were talking about, I see JC and Nim was talking about voting. Today, I believe it's the last day to vote in the early runoff. Is it today the last early day? Monday?
Thank you.
Okay. Monday, black folk. For the local, hey, Roby, what's up? The local election of Frank Scott, we're going to put our power behind that brother. Gonna get him elected. We're gonna put that. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna make that a will of fruition. We're gonna make that will to power. We're gonna go ahead and represent Frank Scott. He's gonna be against Baker Kurz. Real talk. Both of them are good candidates, but I got to go with the brother. Gotta go with the brother. We got to go with the brother.
Baker Kurz is not a good candidate.
Well, I'm just saying that.
He's not.
Yeah. Okay. You go with that.
He's not.
Well, okay.
Not to me.
Well, when all things being equal, I'm voting for Frank Scott.
Well, if all things were equal, then I would
like
understand, but they're not.
Well, that's like saying Asa Hutchinson is not a good candidate, but to some people he is. So.
Well, they're mistaken.
Yeah.
He's the one that says he's not racist because he got some black friends. Yeah, I said it.
And you falling for that. You
I
fell
said
and you
I
fell
meant
for that.
I'm not taking it back because I meant it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm just saying you fell for that. So either way, so my thing about it is,
What you talking about, Lavelle?
what,
Go
is
ahead, I'm sorry.
That pervert on your page.
He on my page. Django
pervert.
just said you a pervert, Lavelle.
Anyways. Wait a minute. I think he had that. Wait a minute. He better not be a Cowgirls fan. Let me look. Let me see. Khalita's on here. Enrico, my boy, on there. Let's see. We're going to keep on going. So today we're talking about hope to hate and why people cheat. Why people cheat, I think we could do that in like 10 minutes. But let's talk about hope to hate. Hope to hate. Now, of course, now this is your fault, Mia, because, you know, we talked that we were not going to talk about Trump. But you cannot talk about this conversation unless you talk about Trump, or at least the atmosphere around him.
I disagree, but go ahead.
Okay, well, let's put it out here.
Okay.
In the span of a decade, well, let's say 11 years, from 2007 to now 2018, we have seen this country do a basic 180-degree flip. Okay? From people that were looking for candidates that were looking to give them good answers and give them hope to inspire them to do better. Now we got what I call the typical Archie Bunker, Al Bundy type candidate, where people just get to speak their mind and do not care. Callous, cruel, heartless, say what they want to say, open bigotry, everything. So we got to ask ourselves, how did we get in this predicament?
I think the easy thing to do would be
Doing
to
that.
blame Trump or Obama for that matter. But I think that what else has changed over the last 11 years other than those two people?
So you saying that Obama, let's just argue the President Obama. I'm not going to call him
No,
this.
what I'm saying is social media.
Well,
Social media has become
What?
the biggest way that most people get their information. And social media allows you to only see what you want to see and people that you only agree with. And most people are only preaching to the choir most of the time. So
Right.
I don't know that Obama or Trump is the reason why people seem to be more hateful than they were. What I'll tell you is that I think people have always been hateful, and there have been people who have always been hopeful, but the hateful people have a platform. Simple as that.
So that's not really social media. That's more of an issue with what we used to call the fairness doctrine, isn't it? Where whenever somebody and look, don't get it twisted. We talk about social media. Social media was around 11 years ago. It's not necessarily social media. It is the influx of disinformation and misinformation.
So Fox News isn't.
Yeah, the Fox News and like
And
I
the
said, the fairness
CNNs
doctrine,
and
where
the
people don't
MSNBC.
repudiate false
Right.
news.
Right.
And
All of them.
and
All
and
of them.
and this notion of freedom of speech allows you to just say blatantly false stuff wrong. And like I said, I blame Supreme Court with that. When Supreme Court ruled in favor of the local Fox subsidiary, which was Lion King, I believe, versus Fox News back in the late 90s, that they stated that opinion journalism could be considered was not liable to tell the facts, that news did not have to tell the facts. I think that's where the problem came in.
Absolutely. Because, it's rare, whether you're talking about Fox or CNN or anybody else, that they actually give you the facts.
Hold on.
Instead, a lot of times they give you their opinion of the facts. And I don't want your opinion of the
but
facts.
hold on.
I want the facts, and let me form my own opinion.
So, hold on. So, are you saying that CNN and MSNBC are on the same level as Fox News?
I'm saying that all of them give their opinion instead of the news. That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with you on that. I believe
You don't have to.
Okay, well, you want to fight today? Because I'm ready.
I'm
You want
not
good
trying
time?
to
You wanna
fight you.
fight
I'm
me?
trying to give you some factual information. If you are trying to sit up and tell me that you don't believe that Rachel Maddow gives her opinion, and I love Rachel Maddow. I'm not saying I don't agree with a lot of what she says, but what I'm telling you is you're giving me your opinion.
But
and I'm intelligent enough to form my own opinion. And I take offense at CNN, Fox, MSNBC, or any of them for giving me their opinion. I don't want your opinion.
Well, hold on. Rachel Maddow's not an investigative journalist either. So let's just be real about what we talk about.
If you're trying to put Fox News and Hannity in the same category as you're putting Brett Hume, I think that's that dude's name. I don't know. Anyone, somebody that just gives a report on the news and that's it. That's not fair.
No.
If you're going to talk about Hannity, you have to talk about Rachel Maddow. You have to talk about other journalists or whoever call themselves journalists who are giving their opinion of facts.
Well,
that's all I'm saying. Be consistent.
Well, hold on. The difference is that, and let's just be real here. One, there's no correlation, because what Rachel Maddow does is she reports facts and then she puts her opinionated opinion to the end of the fact. When you talk about people like Lawrence O'Donnell, Rachel Maddow, who's the other guy? Chris Hayes, and even what's the sister name? I can't even think of her name off the top. That is now on MSNBC.
Hey, Kobe.
Is that Joy? Is it Joy Reid?
Yeah, that's Joy.
Joy Reid. Yeah,
Joy Reid. Hey, bro, what's up, bro? When we talk about that, they give actual facts. Hannity does not give facts. Basically, what he does is he stirs up an angry mob based on something that he sees an outrage with. So to sit around and say that, look, these are both the same, those are not even remotely in the same stratosphere. Because what Hannity does is he comes on, and same thing with Judge Jeannie Pirro. Now, I'm going to tell you who's kind of gotten away from it since Trump is kind of, hey, Rondon, has kind of gotten away from it, has been Neil Cavuto. Okay? So what
is who?
Right. So what
is who did you say?
Neil Cavuto.
Okay.
He's kind of gotten away from it. He's kind of been critical of Trump. So my point I'm trying to make is that what he will do is he will sit around here and he will make an argument and say, well, on the border tonight, we're talking about these migrants. So he does not put the facts up. Laura Ingraham, same one. They don't put the facts up. They go and come from an argument of the opposing argument, and then they put it, and then they whip up their base based on what they did. That's why they use racially coded language. You see what I'm saying? That's why they sit around here and
telling me that you don't believe at all that anybody on MSNBC or CNN is giving language that If I report, that's what you're trying to tell me.
Hold on, wait a minute. If I report,
because I see you as a fairly intelligent man.
No, wait a minute. If I report that the senator-elect of Mississippi put racially coded language in her speech, am I ripping up race, or am I sitting around here reporting on what she said that can be transcribed as racially based? That's all I'm asking you.
What I'll say to you is, a couple of weeks ago, I sat there and listened to Don Lemon and somebody else say Negro or whatever. I'm not your Negro. It was something along those lines. And it got all over me, because I felt like if somebody white sat up there and said that, it would be a problem, number one. And number two, just because your opponent lives in the gutter doesn't mean that you need to go to the gutter. I was hopeful that somebody could stay above the fray, but it appears to me that all of them enjoy the gutter, because the gutter is easy to report on. The facts are hard. When you're trying to report facts, that means you need to do some due diligence. Anybody can do what we're doing right now, and that's sitting up giving our opinion, but we're not parading ourselves out there to be people who are in charge of giving news to people. We say, me and you and Head Sanford, we say, hey, we're here for the entertainment. But if that's what they said, then maybe I wouldn't be so disappointed in them. But they sit up there and go to the lowest denominator, and they're not putting in any more work than we are. And that's a hot mess.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me get Head Sanford's take on this, because you act like you want to fight this day. So,
and right now, I want you to be factual.
Oh, I'm gonna be factual, because the Cowgirls suck. Now, I'm sorry, that's a fact.
Now, that's something we can agree on.
Okay,
baby.
then don't be. Also, I'm sorry. Am I being a little too opinionated? Okay, so
don't give your opinion on that.
My boy Theo, what's up, Theo? Let me ask Head Sam, what you think, bro?
I think CNN is a good station. I just don't agree with Fox News. That's more sensationalism. You know,
Right, it's sensationalism.
Yeah. So
And see, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
They know the time slots to do it. They report more news in the early morning. They get to the sensationalism in the afternoon when everybody gets off. That's when the Hannitys come on and the Rachel Maddow. Only thing I will argue that MSNBC, and I'm not saying that they don't use opinions. They do.
yeah,
But the thing is, they are the counter to Fox News.
right.
They are.
Right, they're the counter, but that
I
doesn't.
agree.
But that's not a bad thing because
I don't disagree with anything that you're. I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is, don't pretend like one is any better than the other, because they're not. They both good.
No. What I'm saying is there's a difference between me giving you an opinion based on fact if I'm countermanding lies. My thing about it is, it's like this. If we're going to say, okay, Mia, you in the gutter, I'm in the gutter, you can sit around and tell me a straight falsehood. But I can beat you back in the same entertaining way telling the truth.
Yeah, but see, MSNBC fired some people from when Obama was president.
Right.
They fired a few people who was trying to criticize Obama on his drone strikes
And
and stuff.
and I don't think that they should do that. If you're going to sit, and let's just be real.
And they did.
All these news shows are all owned by the same group of people. It's just like, what is it? It's like McDonald's and Burger King owned by the same parent company, and they sit, right beside each other, and they both competing on opposite sides. Let
me ask you this, Django. Who do you think is winning? We spend the title of this show, or the first part of the show, was From Hope to Hate. And in my mind, if we can't have a conversation with people that we disagree with without being hateful,
right,
and taking it to the next level, it's somebody somewhere winning, because we're down here fighting each other.
Well,
and we're not, our eye is not on the prize. It's just not. We are sitting up here fighting on Facebook and in rooms, and you going to jail every other day, Facebook jail every other day.
And I'm getting ready to go back.
And I'm getting ready to go back. I'm
getting ready to go back.
Exactly. You're going to be back in Facebook jail.
I'm going to be back in Facebook jail.
Now.
We got bets going.
We are fighting hateful people hatefully.
Yep. That's why I keep 2-3 accounts. Dave, you want to chime in on this at all, bro? Hold on, Dave gonna come in. Hold on, you just wait.
I know Dave about to come for me. That's okay. I'm ready for it. I knew it was gonna come.
I hear your Pollyannish and platitudes, but I'm beyond trying to talk to people who hate me.
Right.
So here's how I look at this: that if we can't agree that you and I are human beings, birth of this earth by the same natural processes, regardless of our skin color, then no, we cannot have a conversation.
Right.
I'm
I
sorry.
agree with you there.
I'm
not talking about that person.
But the majority of these people that are rearing their ugly heads today are those people.
Right.
And until
but the majority of the people who are rearing their ugly heads are the same people. They haven't changed.
It may be.
People.
But the fact of the matter is, I like what Eric Holder said. When they go low, you kick them in the teeth.
Right.
Okay? It's time out for this. But look, this is the former Attorney General, Eric Holder. Now here's the point here. Because, and I'm going to use it from a world geopolitical standpoint.
I'm tired.
You know why Russia has never bombed the United States? You know why China has never bombed the United States? Yeah. Do you know why the United States has never bombed Russia or China?
Yeah, MAD, mutually assured destruction.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So the point being is, if your opponent understands that he has just as much to lose as you do, then he gonna come up off you. And what we in the black community has not been able to do and refuse to understand that little concept is called the art of war.
Right.
Okay. Now until look, I'm not saying go out and be revolutionary and start taking up guns. But what I am saying to you is that you can take your money and be real revolutionary. You can take your children who right now, this weekend, when you watch all of these football games, 70% of those people that are going to be on these championship football fields are black children, okay? That football game last night that you all watched, 70% of those players were black men.
70%
So if you really want to change this process,
Right.
that's how you begin talking about getting and making sure that you're treated properly. But this mess about hoping and praying that they're going to treat us right, all you got to do is look at history. They're not going to do it. That's just my opinion.
It's not going to happen, but they never have. So to me, when you say going from hope to hate, in my mind, when were we ever hope?
And let me address this thing about the media. Let me address this thing about the media because I've spent 35 years in the media. Okay,
I know.
No offense to you all, but y'all play media. Okay, so
I agree.
But I've raised children on the media. I've been in and out of this genre for a long time. Let me be clear: the media has never endorsed black people.
Right.
And when you say media, I'm talking about Hollywood. I'm talking about radio.
Right.
I'm talking about television. It runs the gamut. So whether it's Fox News, whether it's CNN,
Right.
Look, CNN just fired Mark Lamont.
Right.
Because he spoke out against the Israelis. Okay?
Right.
So that tells you right there where their mindset is. So you as black people who are expecting the media to be fair to you, you're a damn fool.
Right.
Okay? Look
so
at your
tell me,
history.
Super
So
Dave,
what you should be doing right now is supporting black media, whether it's black newspapers, whether it's black radio, or whether it's black television, because those are the only areas that's going to give you legitimate news as it relates to our people. D.L. Hughley, a great example of that. The Breakfast Club, all of those people.
Right.
If you really want to get from our perspective, your only voice should come from our people. Look,
I agree
Trump's
with
followers,
you,
they come from
Dave.
Fox.
Yeah.
But what am I saying that you would disagree with? Because what I said was CNN, MSNBC, they're not going to give you food. They're not feeding you anything.
Well,
So
let me delineate between CNN,
Yep.
MSNBC,
Help out,
and
Dave.
Fox News.
Help
Okay.
out.
You don't have to help
Okay.
me out because it's my opinion.
You mentioned the fairness doctrine.
There you go.
That's actually what changed everything.
Right.
When I first got in radio, if I had a Republican on the show, we had to have a Democrat on the
Right.
show. Okay. Once that disappeared, and I want to say that was probably the late '80s, somewhere in that. That was
with the Lion food.
that was the it had to be. Because I was doing WHBQ in Memphis.
Yeah.
No, this was late '87. I didn't move to Memphis to '87. I was doing WHBQ. That was my first talk radio job. So, and during that time period, they had liberals, conservatives, all on the same station.
Right.
Okay. So it had to be sometime in the early '90s, somewhere in there, when that case went to trial. But here's the point: that Fox News is no longer news.
Right.
All right.
Right.
I watched Fox News when it first came into its inception.
Right.
All right. Now, here's what Fox did. Fox used black television shows to increase their diary numbers.
Yep, sure
Okay. So once they increased their diary numbers,
Right.
they transitioned from what would have been, because if y'all remember, one of the best shows that was on television during that time was In Living Color.
Living Color.
Okay. It was on Fox News. It was on Fox.
Martin,
Right.
You know,
all that. Yeah.
so what Fox did was once they got their diary up where they could charge premium rates for advertising, that's when they flipped.
What's up, Chuck?
And they began to launch into this diatribe about right-wing conspiracies
Conspiracy.
and so on and so forth. So there is a difference between the two. I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, I can depend. Look, Rachel Maddow, at some point, and this is my prediction, she's going to get an Edward R. Murrow Award.
Right.
Because it was Rachel Maddow who jumped on this Trump thing as it relates to these Russians and wouldn't let it go. That's journalism.
Right.
Okay? You don't get a Edward R. Murrow award
Right.
for just opinions.
Right.
So Rachel Maddow is a journalist.
Right.
Lawrence O'Donnell is a journalist.
Right.
Joy Reid is a journalist. When you can present to me facts,
Right.
and then I myself, who I consider is a journalist, can go and look at those facts and say, okay, these are okay.
Right.
That's journalism. What you're getting on Fox News is far from that.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
It's opinion hit pieces. Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, Janine Pirro, Laura Ingraham. All they do is stoke fear in their base, and they will say any outlandish foolishness to do it. And you know when it started, I'm gonna tell you exactly. And Dave could have said it any better than I could have said it. They started it right after 9/11. You're right. At first, in the late 90s, Fox was more news. And then right after 9/11, they started creeping further and further and further and further into right wing. They started putting up these right wing wackaloons. Like at first, Dennis Miller, he was pretty much moderate. Then he became a wackaloon. Look who are the people that they put up in their news journal. G. Gordon Liddy, their contributors. Look who they put up there. And then they would sit around and put a moderate up there and say, well, we're fair and balanced, because they'd have 3 conservatives sitting on the panel and one guy like maybe Juan Williams, who really was never been moderate.
But see, the problem is that Juan Williams was there to get a check.
Right.
I followed Fox News because every Sunday morning I would get up and watch all 3. Right. CBS, Face the Nation, Meet the Press on NBC. And whatever they call the Fox. Right. And I watched the evolution of Fox, or I should say the devolution of Fox, as it relates to journalism. Right. Yeah, Brit Hume simply tried to pretend that he was neutral, but they were never neutral as far as I'm concerned. No. And that's where the problem lies, is that when that old saying is that you tell a lie long enough,
people believe it.
People will believe it, and you're seeing that being reinforced with Donald Trump on a daily basis. And that's the concern that I have. Now, one other point about this journalism thing. I took MSNBC to task because during the time that Donald Trump was running for president, Donald Trump was allowed to call into any television station, and give his opinion. He didn't have to pay one red penny for that free advertising and particularly on Morning Joe. All right. So when I look at what the media did, you can be angry about Donald Trump right now, but you can sit that at the front door of MSNBC, CNN, and Fox, and the morning shows, Good Morning America, the Today Show, all of them, who allowed this man to get on television and espouse his lies without being fact checked. That's where they dropped the ball, in my opinion.
They're still doing that, Dave. They're still giving him this platform. All of them.
Well,
he gets more media coverage than anybody ever has in his position.
Well, he's the president now.
Well, part of that is the president, but I will take my hats off to MSNBC, who seems to be getting the news, because last week they refused to air the press conferences.
Right.
They've stopped doing it now.
That's great. And
see, that's what you're gonna have to do, because this thing has gotten out of hand, and at some point truth has got to always rule.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Agree.
Because once it gets to the point where the truth is where I move the goalpost, then we're all in trouble.
Right. And that's what happened. They moved the truth.
Alternative facts.
Right. Alternative facts. And now you got people on Fox News talking about, well, alternative facts is the new facts. What kind of foolishness is this?
But think about it. And I mean, so for instance, when you have a guy in the president's office who will tell you, I don't know if y'all know, but the other day NASA just landed a probe on Mars.
Right.
Okay? To pinpoint accuracy, according to their documentation. Right. In other words, they landed it on a dime. These are scientists.
Right.
Okay? They've lived their lives. They'd rather study an algebraic equation than to eat in some cases. Okay? So when you have a guy in the White House who tells you that he's smarter than the scientists,
well, we know he's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? And but see, I'm not even focusing on him.
You want to have a discussion with these people?
I'm talking about people who follow him.
Right.
See, we have to be concerned about people who follow Donald Trump.
Right.
Look, who is that person that's sitting next to you, eating lunch with you? You see?
Right.
That's what we ought to be concerned about, because look, I'm going to believe a scientist before I believe a Donald Trump.
Right.
You see,
deals in fact.
Because
provable
facts. Now, if you can come up with some other facts that's counter to what a scientist tells me about global warming, then hey, I'm all for it. But I want facts. And until we as people, and that's not just Donald Trump, that's our local elected officials. That's our board members. That's our county. Until we stop allowing them to get up and lie to us, then this will continue. Donald Trump is just the epitome of what's been going on in politics for centuries.
He is. He is exactly what we deserve
and he plays
in this country. He is the culmination of every ignorant person in this country. And so you elect what you deserve. And the Electoral College elected what they deserve. And if you don't like it, then you need to understand you better get your butts up and vote and get people in line to vote, because if you don't, we're going to have the same thing. And if anything needs to change on a federal level, which I'm sure it never will, Super Dave, I'm sure you can agree and would say they're never going to change that, is the Electoral College. Because I have a problem with somebody winning the popular vote and not winning the election. And every time that's happened, it's happened to the benefit of a Republican. It's never happened to the benefit.
Well, they know how to game the system, and that's part of going back to what I'm saying about when they go low, you kick them in the teeth.
I agree.
The Democrats have been too passive.
Way too passive.
When you go back to the Al Gore election, instead of Al Gore saying, "Hey, I'm gonna fight this thing to the end," like Stacey Abrams has said in Georgia, Al Gore, for the good of the country. Well, the Republicans knew they were nefarious in the first place when it came to that election. But guess what? The Democrats knuckled under. Right now, what are the Democrats talking about doing? They were elected to impeach Donald Trump.
Pretty much.
Okay? I don't care what they say. They were elected because people want Donald Trump impeached. What did they say when they first got? Well, we're gonna look at impeachment and may back it off. What?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
They're throwing it in Mueller's hands, so it look like it's a.
But until the people demand from their public officials, look, when you go into McDonald's and buy a burger, what are you're giving them that $4 or whatever it costs to say, I want this burger. It's a Big Mac. I expect it to be 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles on a sesame seed bun. All right? So when they come up there and they bring you a baby cheeseburger, you're going to get some kind of way. Right? So why don't we do that to elected officials who literally vote on and affect our lives on a daily basis? Why aren't we that concerned about that? Because until we look, they bank on the fact that you don't vote and you don't participate. They bank on the fact that when they call a town meeting, it's going to be 5 people there. They bank on that, and they can go back and say, "Well, I call a town meeting every month. Nobody showed up. So if you're mad at Donald Trump, then you ought to be mad at yourself. Okay? If you're mad at Tom Cotton, you ought to be mad at yourself. Okay? If you're mad at Baker Curris and you're not going to go vote in this election, then you ought to be mad at yourself. Now, one other point that you made, and I'm going to shut up because I'm on fire today.
Here you go. He's angry now. I tell you.
Let me just talk about this thing with Frank Scott and Baker Curris. No, Django, they are not the same. They are not equal.
I didn't say
okay. They are as different as night and day. They are as different as the melanin in their skin. Frank Scott grew up in Little Rock. I know Frank Scott's family. I know his mom, his aunts, his uncle. This is a good man who wants to change Little Rock. Baker Curris was part of the Republican administration who destroyed the schools in Little Rock. There is no way on God's green earth that anyone, number one, ought to be voting for someone who destroyed the schools in Little Rock who are predominantly black in this city. Okay. Number two, the mere fact that he's a Republican, and you look at the devastation that Republicans has caused across this country, there is no way on God's green earth you ought to be voting for a Republican. Period. End of story.
You okay? See, I got my job done today. Boy, Django knows how to do it.
Woo-sa.
Said I told they the same.
I hooped and hollered because you sure enough preached.
Yeah, he preached. That's what I did. I know how to get him riled every day. I told you, just watch. He been too calm last couple weeks. You okay, Dave? You want fist sandwich, bro?
I'm all right now.
You all
I'm
right
all right. I'm all right. You know,
See,
I'm,
I know
I'm
I
all
get
right.
it.
You know, I'll be in Hawaii in a couple of weeks, so
we gonna
I
open up
will
the
be
doors
okay.
of the church.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
No,
I
don't
got
do
it.
that. And we ain't taking up a collection either.
Right, and that's what I told him. I was like, y'all not get. Oh, we gonna go out there. And I heard that, and then my mom gonna come to me. She said, "Did you do something?" Because the funny thing about it was when we had that situation with the cops, and they sat around here and tried to. The fraternal order police had the nerve, and this was the thing that I thought was the kicker. They sat around here, and these were even the white sisters said, "Well." Baker Curry said, "Well, I don't endorse that and what they did when they were trying to smear Frank Scott, you know, but with the
right."
They said, well, and check this out. This was the colonizer talk. They said, well, you really didn't repudiate it. You just saying that you thought it was unfair and you had nothing to do with it.
Look, let me say something. Number one, the Fraternal Order of Police, 70% of their members don't even live in Little Rock. Okay,
yeah.
So in my opinion, certainly you have a right, as the First Amendment dictates, to open your head. But here's the thing:
right.
When you exercise your First Amendment right, and I tell all people this, don't be expecting everybody to agree with what you say. All right. And as it relates to the FOP, when 70% of your members don't even live in Little Rock, that tells me that you don't give a damn about Little Rock. You don't spend you take your salary that is coming from Little Rock taxpayers and you take it to Bryant. You take it to Benton. You take it to Lone Oak. You take it to Camden. You take it to Fordyce. You take it to Searcy. Now, those are not that's not me saying that. I have the data that shows me how many white police officers live in this city. Not only that, it was the Black Police Officers Association who sued the police department for racial discrimination. So if you are all about blue lines or Blue Lives Matter, why don't you join forces with the Black Police Officers Association and sue the city and the police department for racial discrimination? You won't, because your opinion is pure folly. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now leave me alone. I got to show the president.
Going. No, you got to keep going, bro. Didn't I tell you I know how to stir him up? I just had to say one thing. I've been following that whole thing.
Do you think Scott got a good chance of winning though?
I think he will win.
If we turn out the vote.
No, hold on.
Now here's the other thing, real quick on this.
You got
now this is what annoys me about this. And this is why I tell black people that you got to stop this mess about when they have something, you run out and support it. When we have something, they don't show up. Case in point, when was the last time you saw white people in mass at a black business? You don't see it, okay? So I want to know why Warwick Saban hasn't endorsed Frank Scott.
That's what I want to know.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
Exactly
the question that we all ought to be asking as black people in this city, okay, that everything that we had, whether it was it could have been a dog hunt in the black community. Warwick Saban was there over the last 3 months. I know because I was at a lot of them. And I went up and said, hey, Warwick, nice to see you. Now, you lose the race because, number one, they didn't expect Frank Scott to win.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Let alone get the majority of the vote.
Right.
All right? So now, all of a sudden, from what I understand in this city, that white Democrats are supporting Baker Curris. Okay? And the only way that Frank doesn't win is that's what has happened. And I want black people in this city to pay attention.
What's up, Lane?
Okay?
Please pay attention.
To pay attention because this is a seminal moment in Little Rock election history. There is no reason, based on Frank's political persuasion, Warwick's political persuasion, that Frank should not win this election if all things go the way they should. If he does
no
not,
reason why Warwick shouldn't have endorsed Frank.
Exactly.
No reason.
So if he does not, then I would employ black people in this city to immediately become independents. You are no longer Democrats. I'm just this is the kind of stuff that we can do as an individual group.
Right.
Because what really we need to do is develop not our own political party, but our own political bloc. You see, we need to develop that when elections roll around, they need to come to us and say, what can we do to get your vote? We shouldn't be running behind them saying, "Oh, I'm a Democrat. Here's my vote."
Here's my vote.
You
in
see
the
what I'm
nice little
saying?
box.
There's a difference
Yeah.
here.
Are you an
Right.
undercover Republican? I'm watching you. I'm watching you.
Hey, Reginald. Hey, David.
Yeah, go on, say tell him hello, cause I'm. You know what? Hold on. See, I told you I knew how to get Dave started, didn't you? One comment got him going. Thank you, Dave. You just knocked off 10, 12 minutes right there. Thank you. So watch this. So when we talking about that, let's talk about what went on in Mississippi. Because see, this is why I'm tired.
Mississippi went Mississippi.
Yeah, Mississippi went. No, they went full retard. That's what they did.
No, they went Mississippi.
Yeah, and that's what they say in
Period.
Arkansas. Thank God for Mississippi. Okay.
You were surprised?
No, I'm. Let me tell you
Who was
something.
surprised?
There are enough black folks in Mississippi to star in the Tarzan movie, but this is the thing that I got an issue with. Y'all sitting around there and y'all let this bigot go because you got some black folk down there who want to say, "Well, I'm a conservative." You know what? The next black folk to say that I'm a conservative and sit on that badge as a reason to vote for a Republican. Let me tell you who else is a conservative. Tim Beavermouth, Coon, Buck Dancing, Most Teesaw Boss, Tap Dancing, Watermelon Busting, Scott. That's the senator from South Carolina. What he do? He go and vote with the Senate to go and put a racist judge in
He's
office
just
on the
said that he wasn't
senatorial.
going to support that.
No, he
judge.
killed it
You
last
didn't see
night.
that?
Oh, did he?
He voted.
Did
He
they
voted.
say-
He
did
voted
they-
for cloture, which means
Yeah.
that it got out of the committee. But once it was getting ready to go to the floor,
Oh, did they shame the Coon?
he took a huge backlash, and late last night he killed it.
Oh, he
so
killed
it.
that particular judicial nominee is now dead. As a matter of fact, there are 21 judgeships that are up for grabs now that have basically been blocked, and you really have to say that's from Jeff Flake,
Right.
as well.
Right.
So there.
And I heard that Marco Rubio was wanting to block him too.
Well,
Did you hear that, Dave?
I didn't hear about Marco Rubio, but again, if the Republican Party is going to save itself, then it's got to stop eating itself, and it has to exercise the cancer. And it's going to be tough because the leader of your Republican Party right now,
Mitch McConnell.
no, it's Donald Trump.
It's
well,
Donald
yeah.
Trump.
You know, now the
Yeah,
one
for
who
sure.
does all the dirty work is Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, the
You
turtle.
see, so it's going to be interesting going forward. But again, we as black people quite often say, "Well, you know that politics. I don't like politics." Y'all better pay attention.
Boy.
This
Hey,
controls
no,
your
no,
life.
No, just go out and buy them
Pay
Jordans.
attention.
Don't
You
go out and
talking
buy them
about your
Jordans.
life.
Y'all better pay attention. People say, "Well, we ought to be teaching financial management at home." Well, we ought to be teaching politics at home too.
Yep.
We need to
Okay.
be teaching both.
Exactly. You see, because this controls your life, and if you understand the vote, then you can get stuff done. But we don't understand the vote. We have black kids right now who are voting age walking around saying they're woke, but they don't vote.
Man, look, you're right. They
So
woke.
let me ask you a
Yeah.
question. So the next time they say
Yeah.
that,
You
ask
know
them what
I'm
their
so
plan
tired, y'all,
is.
with that. I
No,
really am.
well, let me explain to you, because see what
No.
happened to us was
No,
they
Dave,
told us that
no,
the vote was
no.
gonna be a panacea. Hang on, listen to me, Mia, because I understand where you're coming from. But see, what happened was when they started talking about, oh, your folks have fought for your right to vote and stuff like that. True, they did. And what they also said was that the vote was, if you just vote, it's gonna change everything. Okay. What they didn't do, just like they didn't do about teaching us how to use money, they didn't teach us how to use the vote.
Right.
And when people started going vote and things didn't change,
Right.
then they became upset. They became disillusioned. Okay. So what we have to do is start teaching you how to use your vote.
Right.
That means voting in blocks. That means picking an issue and voting in mass about that issue.
Right.
That's how you begin to build political strength.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying when I refer to that, because we simply don't know how to vote.
No.
That's the problem. We know how to go and pull a lever, but we don't know about the process of voting. That
we
same
don't
thing
even know
applies.
who the candidates are at the bottom of the ticket. We just know the top.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
you
my
vote
point.
down
It's
ticket,
a
but
lot.
you don't vote.
It's a
But
lot
yeah, because you'll get a
that people
Democrat in
don't
there
know.
like Arkansas who's really a Republican in nature and politics. Like I said,
Right.
you talking about political parties, but you're not talking about political ideology.
Well, to give you an example, the governor, the Democratic governor, gubernatorial candidate,
Right.
was for charter schools.
No,
You get that, right?
you're right.
So why would the Democratic Party put up a candidate who was for charter schools. So the reason being is because the public
Right.
was unaware.
Right.
So again, it goes back to what I said earlier. If you are not engaged in the process, then these people will run roughshod over you, and that's what they've done to the black community. Now they've disillusioned you. So guess what? You don't vote now.
no more.
So
Right.
guess what? We don't need you to vote. We're going to continue to win electoral colleges.
Right.
We're going to continue to do this and do that because it doesn't matter. Y'all don't vote anyway.
Right.
Right. And when you do, you don't know who you're voting for or why. So
Right.
it doesn't matter.
So we get ready to take us a break. See, I knew how to get days started. I told you every week. You've been lucky, Dave, because I wanted to pick you last week. And we get ready to take us a break. We're gonna come. I don't know how we're gonna segue into this conversation, but we will be back in just a second. Devil's Advocate, folks. What's up, everybody? This is your boy, Deacon Django.
Lorenz, a.k.a. Head Semper.
This is Nikki G.
It's your girl Mia Mack here to tell you your baby is ugly.
This your boy Stanley Swan asked, which one of y'all drank up out of communion and left the crackers? I'm telling G.
And the love child of Morris Cudjoe and Morris Chestnut, Mr. Cudjoe Chestnut. You can listen to us through Joynet app every Friday morning at 11 a.m.
Weddings, birthday parties, family reunions, or even a romantic dinner for two. Black Swan Catering can handle it all. Try our mouth-watering brisket, savory smoked chicken, scrumptious meals and appetizers, or tantalizing sweet treats. We'll customize any menu to suit your needs and guarantee a flavorful and festive event for you and your guests. Check us out at blackswancaterers.com or give us a call at 501-240.
Well, this is what happens when you're a great businessman. Keep on doing that. Keep on doing that. Oh, yeah, man, how you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, good. We back again. Here go Head Sam. He getting like you. I don't think nothing gonna happen. Yes, something gonna happen.
Nah, because I think they're going to just claim immunity. Some immunity law out there. So, well, the president is immune.
There's no such law.
They'll say something.
High
There's something
crimes
that
and
they'll use.
misdemeanors. Mia,
Because you ain't never seen a
I
president
want my lobster
convicted
tail
or
with drawn butter
charged.
and lemon.
Boy, I ain't gonna have to pay
Here's the
nothing.
problem with that, though. See, this implicates his children.
Yep, and that's where the problem comes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
What Michael Cohen did yesterday, this implicates his children.
Yep.
And see, they have no immunity. Okay?
Right.
Children
What
don't.
Mueller has
not elected officials.
strategically done is a lot of the improprieties
Hold on,
have
Mia.
been turned over to state courts.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And
Where
now they're
Donald
going
Trump
after-
has
Procedure rising.
Donald Trump has no pardonability, if
Right.
that's a word, in state court. Okay.
Right.
And that nonprofit in New York where they were
I
funneling
love
money.
New York.
Yeah.
No, that's a state issue, bro.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Now,
Yeah. Okay, I can see that, but I'm just,
Let's
I'd
do
be
it.
surprised.
Nah,
I
don't be
think it's-
surprised, bro.
I
Don't
think
be
it's like
surprised.
Ready to
100%
transition.
and
chance
look,
of him
and
getting-
now they won't get rid of him because they're making good money with Donald Trump right now, business wise. But he's an embarrassment, and we can't have monsters
Marvin?
running the
I ain't been working
countryside
out
now,
at
can
all.
we?
Been eating
So
Twix.
what we're gonna do? We're gonna talk about our next topic. Well, we only got a few minutes. We only gonna need a few minutes about why people cheat because you know it's getting close to Christmas time. For those of you guys gonna have to buy multiple gifts this year. But those of you guys gonna have to. I ain't gonna call nobody out. For those of you guys who gonna be hiding your gifts from Boo and Bay this year. So, for those of you guys don't know, call and tell us, Miss Woke, why do people cheat? So when you cheat, tell us how you get away. I'm sorry, how you do it.
Really? I am one of the most loyal people you will ever meet in your life.
I told you I gotta stir people up though. Just say something untrue. See, that's my Fox News in me. See,
Well, it don't bother me for you to say that to me because I know it's not true.
right?
Only a hit dog will
Baker
holler.
Curtis is a good
So
candidate.
it doesn't bother me. If I was gonna guess though as to why people cheat, I would have to say it's because they want to.
Oh,
Because they want to.
Okay, great. Next subject. Now, going back to Oh, wait a minute. We
Is
got a
that why
phone
you
call.
cheat?
Hold on. Let me see who this is.
What'd you say, Mia? Say that again.
I said, is that why you cheat? Because you want to?
Hey, Karen.
Not you, Super Dave. I was talking to Django.
Oh, you do? Okay. Hold on. We got a call. Hello, Devil's Advocate Radio. Who this?
Yo, my name Earl.
Boy, look at this. How you doing, Earl?
I'm doing pretty good. I got boo-boo.
Boy, look, this here, boy, I tell you, they're going to try my nerves today.
Y'all
How
got
you
some
doing
of them
this?
warm baby wipes up there?
Boy, nah, we ran out of them last night because I had to use them after the Aints dropped the game to Dallas.
What about some rib nuts?
Oh, you got some rib nut, Dave?
Oh, all you got to do is send me $5.95 plus shipping and handling, and I'll be glad to ship you some rib nuts.
I know another man shipping and handling my nuts. But we'll figure something out.
He don't want you shipping and handling his nuts. I mean, oh well, okay. Okay, what's going on, Stan? How you doing there,
baby
Dirk?
wipes.
We'll send you I'll send you a pack of baby wipes complimentary. What's going on, boy? What you know good?
Man, I know that I did not know the Cowboys won the Super Bowl last day.
Yes, they won the Super Bowl last night.
I'm so impressed that they beat a team and they wonder why folks hate them so much. It's just amazing.
Yeah, because you know Django gonna get clowned on Facebook for about a week, but that's okay
Oh,
today.
it's fine.
Yeah.
You ought to be clowned for watching the NFL altogether.
Oh, here she go.
Why you trying to call me out for being woke?
Nobody
How
laughed.
woke are you when you
It was
still
really fun.
watching that coonery that is the Cowboys?
I don't care about no cow. And see, you just violated. You said cowboys, cowgirls. But anyway,
Either way, why you watching them?
hey,
I mean, come on off the plantation already, really?
see, he just trying to get close to Miss Woke. That's all. That's what Stanley trying to do.
That's my bud.
That's your bud.
That's my
I'm trying to
bud.
get close to Grace Greenleaf. Y'all playing. They woke.
Yeah. So talk to me. Talk to me, Stanley. How did we get from hope to hate in the span of 10 years? Talk to me.
Well, we had a black president. That helped. And then it kind of went away from there. Oprah took her TV show off the air.
Yeah.
Ayanna started being a little too hard on black people. That's the thing broke up with Kamora. And a lot of television shows start having black people kissing each other in the mouth or the same thing. It's kind of been downhill from there. Shout out to Empire.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been kind of rough. It's been a rough segue from hope and change to Cheeto Jesus, and I'm just waiting on the fireworks now because we waiting on the Mueller investigation to come down. So hey, of course, Ms. Woke and Head Sample believe that he gonna get off. I don't think he is. I think he's gonna get to a point he's not even gonna run in 2020.
Yeah. I heard
Wishful
from
thinking.
this point
That
forward,
is wishful
President
thinking.
Trump as a Democratic, Republican, God-fearing atheist.
A Democrat, Republican, God-fearing
No,
atheist. Yeah.
not the Democratic, Republican, God-fearing atheist.
Okay, you just confused me and made my head explode at the same time.
Right.
It's kind of like saying somebody mixed is a racist.
Boy, look. So my thing about it is, so let me ask you on the second part, because we just got a few more minutes before we get ready for Black Focus, because I got Dave sounding off because we got this special runoff election coming up, and of course the Mississippi Coons became the Mississippi Coons, and they elected a racist to the Senate, and of course we got this special runoff here, but we trying to get Frank Scott in there.
Absolutely. Frank Scott better than me, 'cause I would have got me a shirt made, so this ain't Mississippi.
Right. This ain't well we want to.
Hey,
I
Mom.
mean, they
You
50
just
and we
waking
like
up late.
49. So
Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry, I don't live there anymore. Yeah, y'all. do
yeah,
that.
you're right. You're in
I'm
an
sorry.
undisclosed location now, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm Team Ted Cruz, baby.
Why you didn't go blow the stadium up last night? 'Cause we could have used that. Cause I mean,
I was there, man, but they ran attention because everybody kept getting sick watching that game.
boy, look, I'm remind me to sit in Jerry Jones a crate of romaine lettuce. So
Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah,
It is just making me cringe that y'all talking about the NFL right now. I ain't lying.
Well, I mean, I guess you don't plan on watching it ever again in life if Kaepernick ain't getting no job, no time.
Right, thank you. We give him a job.
If I never watch it again in life, I'm gonna be okay with it because
What
it's
if
not that big of a
NFL
sacrifice for me,
NFL
and I love
fan
football.
that year?
But I refuse. Even if I slipped and watched the NFL, I damn sure enough wouldn't be watching the Cowboys because that slave owner done told all you black folks how he feel about you.
Yeah, he did that.
If anybody within the sound of my voice think it's okay to be a Cowboy fan, and my brother Trey was a diehard Cowboy fan, but after everything Jerry Jones said he just flat out couldn't do it with a good conscience. He couldn't do it. And so all of you people who are out here ruin the Cowboys, don't you and then at the same time sitting up talking about how black people are being mistreated and how you so-called woke, since you want to call me out all the time, and you sitting up with your Cowboy paraphernalia, you might as well put on your Steven uniform.
Yeah, I see a lot of Cowboys
like
fans, Cowgirl fans on my feed right now, but my boy Jerome. But anyway, but and look, Stanley, I hate you calling so late because we got to get ready to wrap it up because, you know, we got black folks on. I got Dave started today by saying some false information. But anything you want to say before you get out of here?
I just want to say that y'all know that Jefferson Pistol is Black Lightning.
Boy, get off my phone. Just bye. Boy, bye. Hang up. Boy, thank you, Stanley. We will see you guys. We get ready to wrap it up, Ms. Woke. Thank you. You've been getting a little testy. But I'm still gonna invite you to the show, to the party though. So you good.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna come on eat. Thank you, Head Sanford. Now you guys get ready for what's coming? Oh, Black Focus and my man Robert Webb and of course Super Dave Osborne. They're gonna be doing it for you guys. And my last thing before we get ready to go, same bad time, same bad channels. Look, I hope all you Cowgirl fans, I hope you guys after surgery laid partially paralyzed in your bed. I hope your animal come and decide to have improper relations with you while you there. That day, your draw's gonna have two good sides. So, I was saying that. I want to thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys next Friday. And hey, don't forget, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Bye, folks. See you.